What's going on, everyone? So Kyrie Irving is very likely coming to an end when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets. He wants out. He wants to be traded. And if he is not traded, then he is going to leave this upcoming offseason. The Brooklyn Nets are not in a position to allow him to just leave. They can't afford it. If they let Kyrie walk, they have no cap space situation. It's not like the Russell Westbrook Lakers situation where if Russ leaves, Lakers all of a sudden have or they could get to like 30 million in cap space. No. This situation, the Brooklyn Nets, their hands are tied. They have Kevin Durant on a full max. They have Ben Simmons on a max. They have Joe Harris making like 20 plus million next season. They have several multi-year deals like, Royce O'Neal, Patty Mills, Cam, I think, also has a deal. So they're basically locked in. It's Kevin Durant and the rest of the guys that you have. And now you're trying to Mickey Mouse a team together. Very likely, Kevin Durant is in a position to where why would he want to stay, right? Kyrie Irving is going to get traded before the trade deadline. Makes all the sense in the world. And based on all the reports, Kyrie Irving, it doesn't even matter about the money anymore. He wants gone. Even if the Brooklyn Nets say, hey, we'll give you the 4 years, $200 million, he's going to reject it. He wants to be a free agent. He wants to get traded. And there are even reports that he will sit out if he is not traded. So if you're Brooklyn, why play these games? Just get it over with, right? It's already been a mess. It's already been a disaster. Why do you keep doing this to yourself? Now, very likely Kyrie Irving is going to go to the Lakers, although there are several teams that are interested. I don't know how much any of those other teams really make sense. One for Kyrie and that standpoint, the other for the teams that are actually trading for Kyrie, and also the Nets. Like, do the Nets want Kyle Lowry or Chris Paul or something like that? Like, no, it makes no sense for them, right? Yes, they do want to win now, but it makes no sense for them even to try to win now. Kyrie Irving, whether he goes to the Lakers or he goes to some other team, the Brooklyn Nets need to just trade Kevin Durant. I don't know why that hasn't been a thing yet. I don't know why Kevin Durant hasn't been publicly announced as on the trade block. The Brooklyn Nets should have immediately done that. Now, the Brooklyn Nets played hardball with Kevin Durant in the offseason, but now you're in a completely different situation, right? Kevin Durant, you already know wants out, doesn't want to be there, didn't really want to be there. You have Kyrie Irving, who is now leaving. This experiment has been a total disaster and an absolute mess because you have one playoff series win since these two got together. You've lost James Harden in the process. You have Ben Simmons, who is a shell of his former self at this point, and you're just in purgatory because you don't have any cap space or nothing. And you're going to what? You're going to go trade Kyrie Irving for, again, Chris Paul? You trade Kyrie Irving for, Covington and Luke Kennard? Like, what are you trading Kyrie Irving for that's going to make you a contender and help you win a championship with Kevin Durant? You're not going to get anything. That's the answer. The answer is you're not gonna be a contender. And Kevin Durant has been injured the last 2 years, and it's kind of derailed and put the Nets in a really rough spot. Bite the bullet and be done. Right now, the Western Conference is so incredibly close and so incredibly stacked. You don't think that teams would probably sell the farm right now to get Kevin Durant because they feel like if we get Kevin Durant, that puts us over the top? I absolutely think so. I could easily see the Phoenix Suns giving you like Bridges and Ayton, and because they'd look at it as like we got Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and Kevin Durant. We just got to fill in a couple spots. We still have Cam Johnson too. Like, beautiful, right? Like, now you got a nice young core to build around, right? There you go. You're set. Would Boston give you Jaylen Brown again? Maybe. That could be a possibility. Would a team like the Clippers sell the farm? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you'd really want from the Clippers if you're doing a rebuild, but my point is that almost every team in the Western Conference would make a bid. Like, could you get like Triple J and Brooks from the Grizzlies? Seriously, there are several options that could really be a quality deal for the Brooklyn Nets. And you're probably get more for Kevin Durant right now than you would have this past offseason, and very likely this upcoming offseason. So if you're Brooklyn, I don't know why they haven't just said, okay, this divorce needs to happen. It's over. Right? Call the Lakers. Hey, we want both first, unprotected, and Russell Westbrook. Or if you can, try to if you could turn Russell Westbrook, like there's talks of like a 3-team with Utah. Like if you could go do that deal, perfect. Hey, go get us Vanderbilt and Beasley, so we have some young pieces for now in the future. Go get us those guys. Kyrie's yours. Done deal. As soon as you get that locked up, call us. Done deal. And now you can go and focus on the Kevin Durant trade. Make the announcement that Kevin Durant is available and watch every team flock and do whatever they can to get Kevin Durant. Right? Like, would the Toronto Raptors give you like Gary Trent and OG Anunoby? Right? Like, then now you got a young shooting guard, 3-and-D shooting guard, and a young small forward to build around? Probably. Because they would have like Siakam, KD, and Scotty Barnes. Like, that would be a good spot to be in. Or maybe you could get, a combination of like Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent, and OG Anunoby. Or maybe you could work out a 3-team deal and maybe you land Gary Trent, OG, and then have Fred VanVleet get sent to the Orlando Magic for whatever they're like. Would they give you like Mo Bamba and another piece like maybe Cole Anthony or something, right? Like, imagine if you could end up with like Mo Bamba, Anthony, OG Anunoby, and Gary Trent. That's a really good foundation, right? And it's not that far-fetched to think something like that could happen. I don't know why Brooklyn just keep trying to shoot themselves in the foot. They just continuously try to fight a war that they're constantly losing. It's like going up to the biggest guy knowing you're going to get punched and knocked out, but every day you just keep going and getting punched and knocked out. It's like, at what point do you just say, I'm tired of being knocked out, I'm tired of being punched, right? Like, that's what just keeps happening with the Brooklyn Nets. Like, nobody blames Brooklyn for making this attempt. Every team in the league would have went and got Kyrie Irving if it meant getting Kevin Durant. Every team in the league would have gotten these two if they could have. And then on top of that, you went and got James Harden, right? Like, nobody blames Brooklyn Nets for swinging for the fences. What everyone does blame Brooklyn for is just turning this into an absolute dumpster fire and continuously allowing it to happen. It's the way that they're running and operating their organization that has become the disaster, that has become the mess. And it's just, it's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. Like, just be done. Why are you waiting around for, the girl that doesn't want you to maybe change your mind and stick around? Like, this is a divorce that should have happened a year ago. And yet, here we are. And it's like how many disasters are you going to have? And then all Brooklyn says is like how they just want to get back to the game of basketball, and they don't want to be in the headlines for anything other than basketball. And they don't want this and they don't want that. And yet their actions always show the opposite. Right? Like, okay, you couldn't maybe you didn't get a deal that you'd like in the offseason, this past offseason, right? Well, why aren't you trying to trade Kevin Durant right now? He wants gone. It's not like you're going to offend him by all of a sudden allowing, teams to call and request a trade. That's not, like, you don't have to worry about that. Kevin Durant wants out. Kevin Durant doesn't want to be there. So it's not like it's a situation where like, well, if we do that, then now we have a disgruntled star and we have to trade him no matter what. You already showed Kevin Durant you don't care, right? That you don't care about how he feels and you're not just going to give him away. And Kevin Durant already doesn't want to be there. You think he wouldn't be happy If he found out, like, oh, they're trying to trade me, good. Of course they would. And again, you have all these teams that are right there in the standings, especially in the Western Conference. You don't think that those teams would start lining up some insane packages, right? Like, could you get like Murphy, Brandon Ingram, and a couple pieces from the Pelicans, right? Like, would they give you like 6 first-round picks and Murphy, Ingram, and take your pick of another guy not named Zion and CJ McCollum? I think so. No, like, I just think however you slice it, like, you're gonna get a real good foundation. You get the Lakers to take Kyrie and Joe Harris, right? You unload Royce O'Neal. Royce O'Neal would probably get you a nice return from a multitude of teams because he's been very good for Brooklyn this year and a solid, legit, like, 3-and-D guy. So you unload him, you trade Seth Curry. I'm sure Seth Curry would probably get you some nice return. And you start over. You trade Patty Mills. Some team would probably give you a second for Patty Mills, because he can shoot and score and create his own shot and stuff like that. Like, and you just start, signing off on all these guys. And you start getting whatever you can. Start collecting first, start collecting seconds, all that stuff. I know Brooklyn's not really in a position to tank. And that's going to be the biggest thing, right? People are going to say, well, Brooklyn doesn't really own their own picks, da-da-da-da. So then when is it? 5 years from now, you're going to start to rebuild? No. Cut your losses with those picks. It sucks. You eat what you eat and move on. Be done. You're not winning a championship without Kyrie Irving. You haven't been able to win a championship with Kyrie Irving. So you think that now, because you get rid of Kyrie, now you what? You're going to be able to win one? They don't have the talent. Like, they have a bunch of really good players, but they need another star. And they're not in a position to go get another star, right? Like, if they really want to win now, then Russell Westbrook is probably the best bet. Because Russell Westbrook, especially with the Brooklyn Nets team, he's clunky with the Lakers. He doesn't really make sense for the Lakers. But for Brooklyn, that's a team that actually makes a lot of sense, right? Like, it makes a lot of sense for Brooklyn to take Russell Westbrook. He's a guy that always plays and is going to be there night in and night out. He just like LeBron works best when he has a centered around shooters. He's shown how good of a playmaker he could be. You're going to have bad moments. You take the good with the bad, but at least he's a guy that you can try to win with. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were very good together in the past. Why not? And it's 1 year. And they don't care how Kevin Durant feels. So no matter how you slice it, it makes no sense. If you're the Brooklyn Nets, it's time to move on. Just be done. Trade Kevin Durant. The problem is they're not going to. At least until the offseason. They're not going to. I wouldn't even be shocked if they try not to at all. I think Kevin Durant requests another trade before Brooklyn puts him on the market. Right? Like, I think the first news of any type of Kevin Durant trade will probably be Kevin Durant wanting out, rather than the Brooklyn Nets wanna trade Kevin Durant. Just because I just think that if Kevin Durant doesn't want out, they would keep him rather than doing the smart thing, which is, hey, we should trade everybody. Right? Like, even if Ben Simmons resorts back and turns back into like Philly Ben Simmons, still not winning a championship with Billy Ben Simmons and Kevin Durant. Like, you're just not. Like, could you be good? Probably. Like, Kevin Durant's good enough to where you're probably going to be a playoff team, but is that the goal? Like, is that really what you want to do? Like, no. The goal is to win championships and compete year in and year out. And you're just not going to be able to do that. So why not just rebuild and get the best package with the best assets and everything you can? I just think that makes the most sense. But anyway, as always, is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think, dude, trade Kevin Durant. Trade Kyrie. Blow it up. Trade Seth. Trade Joe Harris. Trade Royce O'Neal. Trade whoever you can. Whatever you can to get assets. Do you think, yes, get that done? Do you think, no, keep Kevin Durant, try to get some pieces and see what you could do. Maybe you can win something. Problem is that the Brooklyn Nets are going to end up locking themselves into long-term contracts, and then they're going to have to trade Kevin Durant, and then they're going to be stuck with a bunch of pieces that they can't get rid of. That's going to be the problem. And then they're going to have no cap space anyway, and they're going to be even worse position. They're just so poorly ran. It makes no sense to me. But anyway, again, love your thoughts, opinions, however you feel about it. Let me know down in the comments section below.